Okay, so this category is law of sines, and so let me write down the law of sines for you. Just write it up there. Okay, so for the law of sines, it says that little a over sine of big A, this ratio, this proportion is the same as the ratio of the b's, so sine b, which is the same thing as c over sine c. Okay, so these ratios are all proportional for any triangle. So this is the law of sines, and I'll give you guys some time to write this down. And of course, once I scroll out, it will still be on the top of the screen, but just here's some time to write it down. Okay, so it's a over sine A is equal to b over sine B, which is equal to c over sine C. All right, so in triangle LMN, so I'm going to draw a picture. N is 910 inches, so that's this one. Angle L is 64 degrees. And angle M is 31 degrees. Find the length of L to the nearest tenth of an inch. So we want to find the length of, whatever. Okay, we want to find the length of this one. Okay. So in order to find that one, we need to, in order to find this side length, we need to use the proportions in law of sines. So the proportions of law of sines says that we're going to use this side length in our proportion because it's the only side length that is actually given to us. But then in order to use that side length, we need to find out what this angle is. This angle over here at N. I just drew a blob there so that you can see that that's where I'm trying to point. So we're going to have to find that angle. To find that black angle, we need to use the fact that the sides or the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So I'm just going to call that angle N because it's the letter N. So N plus 64. Where am I getting 64? It's right over here. Plus 31. Where am I getting 31? It's right over here. I'm just adding up the three angles of our triangle. So the angle N, the one in black, plus the 64 degrees, plus the 31 degrees, all of that should add up to 180. Okay, so we're going to solve for the angle N. So N plus 64 plus 31 is 95 equals 180. Then we're going to subtract 95 from both sides. And then that will give us that N is 85. So our angle N, that black angle over there, is 85 degrees. So I'm going to write that in. Okay. Any questions on solving for angle N, first of all? Okay, so now that we have angle N, we can set up our proportion. We have 910 degrees. That doesn't look like degrees. 910 degrees. Oh, sorry, it's not degrees. 910 inches over sine of 85 degrees. And where did I get those? So the 910 is this one over here, divided by the sine of the angle directly across from it. So 910 over sine of 85 degrees is equal to, we want the length of L, so I'm just going to put L. I'm going to put it in lowercase because if I put it in uppercase, that would be the angle. We don't want that. And I just made it cursive because if I don't put it in cursive, it'll look like the number 1. So that's the L in cursive. That represents the blue side, okay? So 910 over sine of 85 is equal to the blue side divided by sine of the angle right across from the blue side, which is 64, not 65. I don't know why I wrote 65. Okay. So we just set up this proportion. So this first proportion has to do with 910 divided by sine of 85, the angle right across from it, and that's equal to this proportion, which is the blue side in question, the one that we want, divided by the sine of the angle right across from it. Okay, so we set that up, and to solve for L, all you have to do is multiply both sides by sine of 64 degrees. So then, since L is being divided by sine of 64, when you multiply both sides by it, it cancels out. And then that would give you that L is equal to 910 on top times sine of 64 divided by sine of 85. So we're gonna type this into the calculator, but before we type it, I'll give you guys some time to write stuff down or ask questions, whatever it is you need. Okay, so we have 910 times sine of 64 divided by sine of 85. Okay. Oh, I meant to type that in the calculator. I thought this was the calculator. Okay, type the calculator. (910) times sine of 64 divided by sine of 85. Okay, so it says 821.02, so that's what I should be typing in the answer box. The answer box is not the calculator. We're going to round it to the nearest tenth of an inch. So 821.0. In this case, it's just 0.0. Okay. Any questions on this typing it in or entire question or anything? Okay, submitting answer. Let's do another one. So it says in triangle NOP, it says all of those things. I'm going to just draw it out so that I don't have to read it twice. Here is my triangle. Side O is 3.6, so that would be this side, 3.6. Angle N is 119, and angle O is 5 degrees. Find the length of N to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. So in this case, we don't need to deal with the side P or the angle P at all because we already have one set of angle side, which is this one that was given to us, the O set, because we have the side length of O and we have the angle O. And then we also have the angle N given to us, and they want the side N. They want this blue side. So we don't have to solve anything for P because it's not even in the set of stuff that we need. So let's set up our proportions. We have 3.6 over sine of 5 degrees. So that would be this little pair that I just put stars on. And then this is going to be equal to the side length N divided by sine of 119 degrees. So that would be this pair. And of course, the n is the thing that we want. Any questions about how we set that up? So it's side length over sine of the angle across from it. Okay, so then to solve this, we're going to just multiply both sides by sine of 119. And let me scoot it down so I have more space. Okay, I guess I didn't have that much more space, but 3.6 times sine 119, oops, divided by sine of 5 degrees should equal, those cancel out, should equal n. So I'm going to type 3.6 times sine 119 divided by sine of 5. Any questions before I just go ahead and type this in? Okay. Oops, that is the answer box. I'm going to type it in here in the calculator before I type it in the answer box. Not like last time. Okay, 3.6 sine 119. Oops. Divided by sine 5. And it gives me 36.12, and we want to round it to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. So in the answer box, I will put 36.1. Any questions? Okay, 36.1, submit answer. Okay, let's go on to the next section.